Hey guys, it's Mcshwack with another Sims 4 house building video. Now, I know this video is long overdue, but the reason for that is this house has been giving me so many complications when building it. So I'm gonna have to turn this house into another parter. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna release the house in parts, but after I've finished releasing every single part of the house, I'm going to release a video of all the parts put together in case you want to watch the longer video. But I can tell you that these videos are going to be pretty long because this is a really big house and it's taking a lot of time to do. Now, in this video that I'm doing right now, I'm only working on the decorations of the first floor of the main house. And the reason for that is because when I was building this house, it was taking way too long to do all the fine adjustments of making sure every room is to size. And it was just causing me so many difficulties because there is a split level in this house. So I decided to completely scrap the building of the house and I'll do with just doing the furniture. Now, there is a main house and there is a mother-in-law house off to the side. In this video, I don't do anything with the mother-in-law house, but I will get to it when we work on the rest of this home. Now, what I'm thinking I'm going to do for these parts, this video is going to be the interior of the first floor of the main house. The second video will be the interior of the second floor of the main house, and then the third video should be the mother-in-law house and the exterior of the home. Now, what I'm doing here is this entry hall. I wanted to do like a fountain that was right there, but you can't have fountains indoors, especially on foundations. So what I had to do was just do like kind of like a split level underneath those stairs, and I pop in just the fountain effect that's in there, but there's no actual water in there. So hopefully it'll look good and you guys get the idea that that's supposed to be a fountain. Now, this is a very large home, and that's why it's taking so long to release this video for you guys, because I have so many ideas for this house. So I'm being very particular on what I'm placing in what room and how the room's gonna look, because I already have an idea of what I want this house to look like. Now, this entry hall, I wanted to keep everything under that style of the stone walls, because the exterior of this home has those stone walls everywhere. So I wanted to do, this house has the stone walls from the exterior come into the interior as dividing walls, and then have wooden panels for the rest of the house that doesn't have the stone walls. I think it looked pretty good. I'm excited about this house. This house is a lot of fun. Now, with the entry hall, because it's so large, I'm trying to find stuff that I can put in here to fill the space. And this little corner right here, I end up putting the end table there, and I'm trying to find stuff to put on the end table. And I think what I end up doing is I end up just getting rid of that table because I don't like the way that it's sitting there. I feel like it leaves the room too open, and I don't feel like the table should belong there. So even though I'm doing all the decorations for this table, I think I end up just getting rid of it. Yeah, see, this is me trying to find something to put there. I wanted to put the stone, the stacking stones there, but I didn't like the look of it. And then all these objects that I'm finding right now, they're way too big. So I end up settling with the knight's armor just because of the fact of how skinny the armor is, and I can put it really close up against that wall. Now, because it is an entry hall, there does need to be some sort of table just in case you want to put like keys down, or guests come over and maybe they need a place to put their bags or something like that. So I do the end table over here next to the glass windows. Now, this house also has a ton of windows, and the reason for that is because the way that I was going about this house is supposed to look like it has a lot to do with natural lighting and natural resources. So that's why this home is a lot of stone and a lot of wood and a lot of windows, so that it gives you that outdoorsy kind of look, if it makes sense, while keeping it still pretty modern. Now, when we move over here to the kitchen and dining room, this is the room that gave me the most complications when building the house, because I made this room a split level. So um, I had to bring the split level down. So I had to tear down the foundation for the dining room and then have the foundation go back up for the kitchen. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I really liked the idea of having my kitchen sitting up higher and then having a bar right down here where the dining room is. That way, if you're in the kitchen and you're cooking and stuff like that, you can look down into the dining room. So let's say you have guests over and you're cooking for your guests. You can have the guests sitting in the dining room or sitting down there at that bar, and you could be cooking in the kitchen and you're kind of up higher so that you can see them and they can see you, kind of thing. Now we're doing the decorations in this kitchen, and I wanted to keep the kitchen looking really modern. You'll see that throughout this house, the theme of the house will change quite a bit. And the reason for that is just because of the fact that the house is so large. I didn't want to keep the whole house under one theme, because that would keep it that would make it kind of boring. Now, I'm using the move objects command because I had to glitch these counters in the corner, and now when I try to place objects on the counter, it doesn't place them where I want them. It's trying to snap the objects to the specific corners of the countertop um, that Sims puts in there. So for me to fix that problem, what I'm doing is I will place an object where I think I want it, and then I have to move the counter out of the way and put the object basically where the floor is that I want it to go, and then put the counter back. And that helps me move the objects like to the far back of the corner, or the counter, sorry, to the far back of the counter, instead of having it right on the edge. Now, I put in this windowsill, and I like these windowsills in Sims, but I don't like that they don't register as a like a shelving unit, so you can't put objects there. So for me to fix that, I keep going to the outside of the home, and I place the object on the grass, and then I'm using the move objects command to raise the height of the object so that it looks like it's sitting on that shelf right there. Now, I think it turned out pretty good. I like that I put the plants there, because the window is gonna have the sunlight for those plants to grow. So it made it look a little bit nicer in here. So we finish with adding in the cabinets around the refrigerator and the trash can. I noticed that I always forget to do a trash can in most of my homes, so it's a good thing that I remembered this time. Now, because this is a split level, the foundation of the home had to have a specific um, foundation style, because all the other ones added an extra lip, and it wasn't going to work. It won't look like the walls of a home. So the foundation on the split level doesn't match the walls completely, but it'll have to do. So we're doing the dining room of this home, and like I said, I wanted to keep everything in the kitchen looking kind of modern, but I noticed that I have problems with the lighting, so I'm trying to find some small lights to light up little areas and stuff like that. Now, that wall, I really like what I did with the wall, because I like that it's all stone, and then those lights, they're small lights, but they're kind of like accent lights, so it lights up small portions of the stone, and I think it looked pretty good. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to do some decorations to make it look like it's a nice, elegant kitchen, um, and take advantage of the lights that are there. Now, I wanted to do some sort of like waterfall right there in the center, and I couldn't find one, but I found this plant, so I decided to just put that there. Now, the room that I'm working on right here, this is the mud room, one of the first mud rooms in this house, so that when a sim is in the backyard, or doing side yard work or something outside to where you get your shoes dirty and stuff like that, or maybe you need to get cleaned up. um, they're gonna come to this room before entering the house so that they can clean themselves up, because this is a nice house and it's a large house, and most of the time when you have a larger house you want to try and keep it clean as possible, but cleaning the house is a lot of work. So if you have a mud room, what you can do is, instead of going into the house and bringing in all the mud and everything like that, you go into your mud room, get yourself cleaned up, and then you can enter your house, so it keeps your house clean without you having to do a lot of work. So what I did for this mud room is I did have a sink and a shower, just something to keep you clean. It it kind of works like a bathroom, but it just doesn't have a toilet. So when you're playing this house, if you have a large family and you want to have your Sims take a shower and you're running out of bathroom space, they can use a mud room. Now, moving on to this room right here. This is the living room, the downstairs living room, and there will be a game room upstairs that's going to be similar to this, but this is going to be like the main, it's basically just the main living room. It's going to be the place where if you have guests, they're going to come hang out here, or you can relax in this room. I wanted to put a nice big TV in there just because I figured if someone actually owns this house, they have a lot of money, so they can afford to put a nice big TV in their living room, and a nice fireplace and elegant chairs and stuff like that. Now, with this house, the lighting, I wanted to do a lot of the, I guess you could say, spotlights. And the reason for that is I like the style of having a spotlight lighting up certain spaces of the room. But when you're doing that in Sims, the spotlights need a lot of help because they direct the light into certain points, but it doesn't light up the entire room. So I do have to throw in some other lights and stuff like that. So what I try to do with these spotlights is I pick certain spots of the room that I want emphasis on, and I use that to light up that room. So like this back section here, I built the counter and put up those pictures because I figure this room would be the room where when you have guests over, you would show them, pictures of trips that the family has been on, or you show them pictures of your family members or stuff like that. And it got me thinking, well, maybe somebody in this house is an artist. So I did put a camera on the counter and I did pull out the art easel so that maybe when guests come over, they can do paintings of them or take pictures of them so that they can add it to that wall that's over there. Now, the bathroom is connected to the living room because I don't have very many bathrooms downstairs for the Sims to use. So I connected this bathroom to that living room through the door. It seems a little bit out of place, but it works. And when I was building it, I realized that the bathroom is huge. And like I said, because there's no bathrooms really downstairs, I tried to turn this into almost like a community bathroom, if that makes sense, to where you can have multiple Sims in this bathroom at once. So I did put in 2 more showers so that, like I said, if you have a large family living here and let's just say it's the morning and you got to get ready to go to work and go to school, and your Sims needed to take a shower, but they don't have the time to wait around for other Sims to finish, they just go ahead and come down here and there's 2 showers ready to go. Now, because I put the 2 showers in there, I could not find a way to fit 2 toilets. So there's the one single toilet, so there's not a whole lot of privacy, but it's enough to work. And we add in the sink over here with the mirrors. Now, normally I do the mirrors all the way across the counter space, but I was playing around with it, and when I had the mirrors only covering where the sink was, I thought it looked really good, and I thought it made the sink look nice. So I kept it like that and added some plants and some lighting around it. Now we come back over here to the living room, and I figured that that wall looks really bare, so I wanted to come up with something to make it look a little bit nicer. So I start adding in a little bit more detail work of adding in a bookcase and the carpet there, just so that the room doesn't look as bare, but I still wanted to keep it a little bare, just that way if there is someone that downloads this house and they want to use the art easel for paintings and stuff like that, it'll give them spaces to hang up paintings. Now, when we come back over here to the entry hall, I noticed that the room looked a little bit dark, so I threw in that lamp over there. But it doesn't need to be too bright in there because it's just an entry hall and you're not going to be doing a lot in there. Now, this next room, it was kind of a stretch on an idea that I had. I wanted to do a greenhouse. So what I did here is I have the hallway is filled with windows, and there's a mudroom that leads you to this greenhouse. Now, because the greenhouse is actually on the foundation, I had to kind of get creative a little bit and figure out how I'm going to make this greenhouse look like a greenhouse, even though it's on a foundation and it's concrete. So what I did is I had saw before in a Sims video, it's James Turner's The Sim Supply. He had gotten the idea from someone else, and I don't know who gave him the idea, so I can't give them credit for it. But they made a planter box using the half walls. So I went with the same idea there because I thought it was really cool and it would really help me in this situation. So you just set up the half wall there and you raise up the plants, and it makes it look like a planter box. So it looks pretty cool. Now, the reason I did the grass everywhere is because I wanted to make it look like it was a greenhouse, and everything in here was instead of it being a foundation, it was just dirt that was framed in. And I end up putting all of the flower pots and stuff like that in here so that you can start doing your gardening in here. But I didn't like the way that the green grass looked, so I start looking around and I start thinking maybe I can do some sidewalks or something like that in here. So I'm kind of playing around with the floor to see if I can get it to a way that I like it. But I did want to do the large planter boxes right there in the center of the room and the flower pots on the edge. So what I ended up doing was I just do the stone path all throughout that garden, and it looks okay. I like it. Now, that little room that I was fiddling with for a bit, that was the mud room. So because finding the objects in the category takes a while, I ended up just copying a lot of the objects that were in the other mudroom just so I can move them over here so I'm not scrolling through the menus. Why make life harder and do more work? So we get that little mudroom going, and I did the stone all the way around it and added in a window just so it had some natural lighting in there. Now this is the hallway that I was talking about. If you see right there, because that whole wall is windows, if you get your greenhouse going and you have a lot of plants in there, it's going to make that room look really cool. So we start moving on over here to the master bedroom. And the master bedroom, I had a hard time with decorating it because I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how it was going to look. So when I came up with the design of the room, I did put that the corner of the room, all windows so that they can view the backyard, because I have a lot of plans for the backyard, and I did want the bed at an angle. So I did add in that wall right there just to make it look nicer, so that when you kitty corner it doesn't look too bad. But I'm not a huge fan of having empty spaces in houses. So if you see right there that little triangle, that's dead space, and I'm not a fan of it, but it works in this case. Now, the way that this is set up is right there where those sinks are, that is the beginning of the bathroom. That's where you would go and wash your hands. And then this is a walk-in closet. Now, I wanted to detach the sinks from the bathroom because I don't like having to cram everything in a bathroom, especially in a master bathroom. I figured master bathrooms should be large and there should be plenty of space to maneuver around in there. Now, I was gonna put the TV at the foot of the bed because I thought that would be cool. You could lay in bed and watch TV and stuff like that. And then I realized it kind of makes all the rest of the room, that like living room section of the bedroom, it would make it like dead space. So I ended up moving it against the wall and not going with that idea. Now, this bathroom, because it is so big, I had to try and find a way to get everything to fit in here and make it look a little bit smaller. And that's why you'll see that I cycled through the hot tubs. I wanted to put a hot tub in there, but the hot tub is just too big. And I'm trying to maneuver stuff around just to see if I can find some space. And I have a lot of empty space, but I'm not going to put sinks in there, so I'm trying to think of what I can do. And I went over to that pre-built room, and it gave me the idea of turning this bathroom into like a sauna kind of spa room. And that's why I opened up the sauna, but it was too big, so I figured because it's too big, I'll kind of make myself a fake sauna. So that's what I do with that blank space right there, as I kind of make it look like you can use this room as a sauna, but it is still just a bathroom. And I like the way it turned out. I think it looks pretty nice, and it makes the room look calming. Now, that's it, guys. I did all of the first floor of the main house, and you'll see off to the right over there, that is the mother-in-law house that will be worked on. So hopefully you guys like this video. If you guys have any suggestions to do anything for the second floor, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching.